We'll probably never get to travel in time.
Don't forget that Weeby owes you $10. He owes me 20, not 10.
But certain places in the world allow us to open that door just faintly and leave the rest of the picture to be painted by our imagination. That's what learning about our past through abandoned places enables for me. And hidden within a forest lies a fascinating place. Once a decadent spa town and a Soviet destination that attracted the elites of the Communist Party, including Joseph Stalin himself, for its natural springs that were said to have healing powers. Allowing us to open that door to the past, Skatulbo is now a collection of crumbling hotels, bathhouses, and sanatoriums, left abandoned for decades. Except for one of the spas still open and operating today, which is where we'll be staying. But the history of this place is a lot deeper and more complex than meets the eye. And so, we opened yet another chapter in our ex-Soviet Union adventures, as we seek to answer many questions around what happened to this small country after the Soviet Union left and collapsed, and what this once elegant city turned into. As a nation with a dark history filled with tyrants and a displaced population, this is the story of Georgia.
Damn!
The
man who is in charge of the gate here is upset at us because we're late. He was sleeping.
Our trip immediately began on a strange note, as we were staying in the only spa resort still open in the city out of the previously 18 operational ones.
It feels like we're arriving like a haunted place right now. Hopefully it all goes all right.
Yes, we are the guests, the only guests.
Welcome to
Okay,
another
Weeby.
strange Yes Theory adventure.
I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to sleep. It's so creepy.
Weeby actually sent me, well, dude, what the fuck? I just fucking turned on the AC and it automatically goes into cool down mode again. It's so annoying. Weeby sent me $20. He did.
Oh, wow. I have like an
My mods pay me. In Soviet Russia, mods pay you.
apartment.
Sleep well.
Thank you. Good night. We started the morning by meeting our guide, Lucas, a local Yes Fam member who was born and raised in this city.
If someone sends me $30, we will watch the Moist Critical video. If someone sends me $30 to my PayPal, I will watch the Moist Critical video.
In fact, and whose grandma worked here. He will be helping us find its hidden corners and understand its peculiar history.
Very curious about this place. It's kind of weird arriving. I didn't fully connect that we were like staying in the middle of it. When we arrived, I was like, is this a part of it? So we started filming last night. We're like, are we staying in the thing that we thought was abandoned?
This is the only sanatorium that kept working even after Soviet.
Wait, I did get sent. Someone sent me $30. What the fuck is going on, dude? Kibaka, thank you for the 10 community gifted subs. Bro, stop. Okay, guys, I was kidding. Stop. What is happening? Stop. Actually, stop. Gift subs instead. Don't do that. 2 people sent me $30. Now I got another 40 spot from HasanAbi Adventures. Oh my God. Everybody cease. Cease. Using your fans fucked up, lol. Now we have to watch that video.
Collapsing. This town got like 120,000 visitors per year. Obviously, it's a huge part of our history now. So let's go and see the chandelier that they have and check the rooms that they had in Soviet Union era.
Okay, let's go.
Thomas and his strange fascination with Soviet times. I love it though.
Our exploration started in the hotel resort we were actually staying in. Originally one of the many Soviet-era sanitariums in this town, a sanatorium was an establishment focused on therapeutic and medical treatment for a variety of ailments and this town's sanatoriums were famous for their healing spa centers.
It was built by Georgian architects, but it was built by German enslaved people from World War II.
Wait, German enslaved people from World War II
Yeah.
But
that were captured by the
They were-
Russians?
Bro, come on. Don't say German enslaved people. It's a work camp for Nazis, man. Jesus Christ. like connect the dots a little bit, please.
Captured by the Russians.
Like soldiers or...
Yeah.
I see.
This story is getting darker by the second.
This first resort out of the many others we'll be seeing is one of the few still remaining buildings in town which was refurbished after the fall of the Soviet Union and turned into a modern hotel resort in 2011. Although it has only been operational for 13 years, its architecture still remains from its Soviet origins, and walking through its halls truly feels like stepping back in time.
Bro, what the fuck is going on? Stop sending me
What do you
money.
think they performed up here?
Probably a lot of music, I guess.
Amar's a really good singer, actually.
Oh, okay.
So right now we're going into part of the sanatorium that is very close to the one that's still active that we are staying in, where the rooms are completely preserved from the Soviet times. So they're close.
I told you, stop sending me money. Gift subs instead. Even though some of it goes back to Twitch, at least you're gifting subscriptions to other people.
Closed, so you can't like stay in them, but they're not totally decrepit and destroyed. So we're gonna see it. We're hoping it hasn't fallen apart too much. But we have this elderly man who's coming with us who has the keys to the building.
Ne yapıyorsun lan? Burada değiller. Niye?
If this still works. It feels very haunted when a place is like hasn't moved in decades. The bed is still
Nereye
made
gidiyorsun?
and the lamps are still in the position that they used to be.
Ben buradayım. What happened to Kaya sub badges for Mass Stupid Art? Don't ask me. As Mass Stupid Art. Bro, I don't care. Jesus Christ.
There's also the spas around, like bathhouses, where the radium water, I think it's radium, it's radioactive, but if you have like doctor's permission, you can take these baths.
Another addition to this town's already strange history is the peculiar phenomenon that made the town famous for its healing properties: the presence of radioactive water in its natural hot springs. Yeah, the spring water in this town contained radon, a radioactive gas deemed a health risk by American environmental agencies, but paradoxically has been utilized in certain parts of Europe for generations as a therapeutic remedy for various health conditions.
What?
As we make our way through this gigantic, abandoned network of buildings, we were now about to enter the building that gave this spa its notoriety in the first place, Spring Number 6. Built exclusively for Joseph Stalin at the time, it is the largest thermal bath still operating today.
Yeah, when they've had deadline of Stalin coming here, they've hired, I think, 4,000 extra workers to finish in time, so he would be able to get his private bath, which we're gonna see right now.
It's strange to me that in old Soviet places, I mean, they've kept this, I guess, as like a relic of history, but statues of Stalin still exist. That's a strange thing to me. I've seen even in, Transnistria, this country that doesn't exist inside Moldova, in some cafes, there are like posters of him. It's crazy. It's very backwards when you know the millions of people that he killed.
Stalin is considered one of the most notorious tyrants and dictators in history, with an estimated 9 million of his own civilians killed or starved under his rule. As Stalin was Georgia-born, the country was therefore favored by the dictator and positioned as a leisure destination in the Soviet Union. This room was built exclusively for his use in
Please stop this video now.
1951, which he only used once before passing away a few years later.
No, not all of his victims were Nazis, chat. Come on. They're also incorporating famine into that number as well. Double, come on. Okay. And, Jesus Christ. Like you don't have to fucking turn around and be like, no, actually everything Stalin did was great. You can see it as in the words of Norm Finkelstein's parents, you know, collectivization occurring over the course of not 400 years of slavery like in the Western world, but instead over the course of a couple decades, and the inevitable inevitable consequences of that. Imagine if they counted every person who died in prison during a president's term, Lamau. I mean, it still wouldn't be as long as, it wouldn't be as high. The number wouldn't be as high. You wouldn't say that if you were there? No, it's just like, yes, industrialization, and the like Norm's parents said, this generation will suffer for the comfort of future generations. Careful, comrade, you're bordering on treason there. I'm fucking treasonous, revisionist.
In 1953.
What's your feelings when you feel like
A little bit disgusted.
No, the Black Book number is 100 million, which incorporates unborn Nazis and the unborn in general. That's why he said 9 million, which is a much more conservative estimate, which features people that died in prison, people that died in famine. The ridiculous number is 100 million, which is a falsehood. The Black Book, which incorporates Nazis, the unborn children of the Nazis, the unborn children of every single person that could have had children. Like that shit is, that stuff is ridiculous, obviously. And it also is still ridiculous. Like even with the 9 million number, we never calculate death under capitalism in a similar fashion. We don't. 14 million people die due to famine every year under a global capitalist order. However, those deaths are not seen as like direct consequences of mismanagement, even though, unlike Stalin's Russia, there is no fucking World War II plus a nation comprised of potato farmers trying to fucking become from an agrarian society to a society that was able to beat America in the space race over a short period of time without the utilization of colonies. It's not ever incorporated fairly. Like those numbers under capitalism, if you look at capitalism, global capitalism as an economic order, those numbers are nothing. Like, I mean, 9 million is nothing. Even 100 million is technically nothing in comparison to how much under that exact same level of scrutiny capitalism is killed. There's also the there's also the difference in material conditions of the USSR and World War II, and the impact of World War II on the USSR in comparison to like how Western civilization was brought up and developed. Having said that, however, I'm not like a Stalin. I am not a... Why are you LARPing as a leftist when you're one of those right-wing reactionaries? What is this? Don't be stupid. Stalin killed millions, no doubt. Yes, anti-communist propaganda is widespread, but it doesn't mean the U.S. started the massacre of thousands of innocent people. I mean, there is a lot of draconian policies that were implemented in a very paranoid fashion under Stalin, for sure. Like, that's it. It's like looking at the Cultural Revolution and not acknowledging its failures. However, having said that, he was a great Nazi killer. I mean, straight up. Fucking meat grinder shit. Big W. Very, very, very big W for Stalin. Stalin's mistake, supporting the creation of Israel and not dissolving Germany. You know, fair.
This building right here looks like a UFO spaceship.
A unique and strange part about these times was the way their vacations worked.
Basically, twice a year, you'd get a ticket that would allow you to travel somewhere. But the Soviet Union would pick where you were going. So you might get a ticket to go to Ukraine, maybe here in Georgia. And they give it to you, and you'd end up just being sent there in a housing that's assigned to you. It's strange to think that that's, at one point, how a very large portion of the world was operating. The complex that we are exploring is massive. It is basically an entire city, and as we're driving around, there's the abandoned post office, the abandoned train station, the abandoned...
What about the American W against German, Japanese, and Soviets? We beat 3 superpowers in a generation, Hasan. Why would you incorporate the Soviets to that? You think the Cold War was good? What are you, fucking stupid? The fuck? How about you fucking look at European social democracy and thank the Soviets every fucking goddamn day if you do live in Europe, because there was like a balancing act that European capitalists had to play that America never even engaged in. If you want to understand what like the Soviet influence was in comparison to like the United States of America, the closer you are to the fucking USSR, the better you have social safety nets as a consequence of that. Even American New Deal, even the American New Deal was born out of pressures from trade unionists and communists. If you like the weekend, thank a fucking Soviet, or at least a trade unionist, or at least a fucking communist or a socialist, okay? Dumb fucks. Taking all of the hard-fought battles that your fucking grandparents fought for, okay? You're taking that shit for granted. Like you think that capital owners would ever give you an ounce of dignity in your fucking lives. Okay, they fought very hard not to. World War II was won by Soviet blood and American material. Everyone played a role, but the USSR did the most. Yes, absolutely.
KGB building. And so basically all of the Soviet infrastructure has been left behind, and some buildings have been bought, like this one for example was abandoned, was purchased, and I guess is maybe a project to reconstruct it. The question is, can we sneak into it?
Oh, he passed 2 times this guy.
He's passed 2 times?
Yeah.
I hope we're not gonna get arrested. Yay!
He's always making everything sound like a joke.
I would not want to be arrested in Georgia, please. I always feel sad being in a place like this, knowing that so many resources were poured into it, and then ultimately it's just left
Yeah, I wonder what happened that like so many beautiful Soviet infrastructure is left in a state of disarray. Huh. Must have been the fault of Stalin, who had died many, many years before. And certainly not Western capitalist bankers plundering the country with collaborators, fascist counter-revolutionary capitalist collaborators, who then also suspiciously became leaders of Russia, like Vladimir Putin and all of his oligarchs. But that's the fuck do I know? I'm sure that happened because of socialism is a failure, inevitably, always.
to rot like that. Wow, look at this. Whenever I see plants like that just growing, I always feel like the power of nature reclaiming the planet back. No matter how much we build, how much concrete, how much steel we put into this, plants find a way to grow.
Wow, Hasan is really going mask off tonight. What? Come on, bro. I know you're being sarcastic, but this is the type
They're
of shit that I
abandoned
say
building?
all the time. It's fucking ridiculous. It's abject reality.
You grew up
It's
in this
correct.
Yeah, I grew up like 5 kilometers away from here. Me and my friends, we usually would go around and explore this abandoned building. I was born in 2000. It was not the best time to have a child. Yeah, my mom emigrated when I was 6. She moved to Greece to help finance my studies, my clothing, basically everything.
She moved to Greece just to send money back.
Yeah.
To help you.
Yeah.
So did your dad raise you then, or like what?
No, I was raised by my grandparents, my dad's parents. My grandpa's 84, my grandma's 72. I still live with them. They took really good care of me. And this is not just my story. This is basically like 80% of Georgian's story who was born in 2000. Because yeah, most of our families, moms, dads, they usually went out of the country to help us.
How often would you see your mom growing up?
Growing up, there was 11 years that I didn't see her.
11 years?
Yeah, I didn't feel like I was lacking something in my life because my grandma and grandpa filled my life with all the joy. They literally gave me everything. They're like my parents and I have huge respect for them. But yeah, that's what made me me, and here I am now.
It's a really nice hoodie, man.
Actually, let me tell you about it. This is the new Seek Discomfort collection. Lucas told me earlier that he liked the sweater, so.
Whoa, I really like that sweater you're wearing.
Wow, fascinating. If you trust anyone's opinion, trust Luke.
Yeah, exactly. It's high quality. Like you can actually feel the letters. Even when you wash it, like it's probably not gonna lose the color. Probably. I mean, if he gives me 1 or 2, I can test it out and yeah, give the feedback.
Actually,
Thank you so much. A head full of fears has no space for dreams. Oh, it smells nice. It's worth just paying for the smell. Yeah. To get this amazing shirt, guys, just have to go to seekdiscomfort.com and just order it. Nice. Yay!
this building that we're exploring right now was used the early 90s as a home for IDPs, internally displaced people. As you zoom in to the Google Maps of Georgia, there's a few dotted lines I've been very curious about for a very long time, and those are occupied territories, unrecognized by other countries, occupied by Russia. 80% of the people that lived in Abkhazia, one of these countries that doesn't exist inside of Georgia, left, and many of them fled to this specific region. So when the Soviets left and these sanatoriums were basically abandoned, Georgia moved the people from that region into some of these buildings. Now they have modern buildings built just outside, but initially, as the whole crisis happened, they just housed them here. This building was first used as a sanitarium and then as kind of like a IDP center where people came and lived for some time. So Georgia is filled with layers and there are many aspects to this story. Humbled to be here and learning about it and getting to see glimpses of its past through these buildings.
We'd heard that there were many Georgians who were displaced after the fall.
I'm not a brutalist, Andy. I'm not a big fan of brutalist architecture in general, but I will always admit that obviously Soviet era building blocks are phenomenal in general for what it did, which is housing a fuck ton of people.
Of the Soviet Union. Most of them were moved to these abandoned resort buildings. We were about to speak to one of these people,
Your
a woman
worst take?
who'd been
Okay.
living inside this abandoned building for over 30 years.
There's someone here. It's a woman, I think. There's someone there?
Sounds like.
ისკიდე ჩვენი საოთახი. მაგრამ აქ უფრო გეგულობ ჩემს სტოლებს.
That's where she accepts the guests.
გაიხარეთ, შეგავსებ. ჩამოჯექი
You
დაბძანდი.
can have a sit.
არც არაყის მიირთმევ ჭაჭას.
Jaja, shot of Jaja.
ეხლა მოვიდა. ოკეი. ხანელა დაჩამომართა და მე რო სტუმრები მომივა, ხო? მე მინდა ჩემი ქვეყანა რო ვანახო. რო როგორი ხალხი ვარ, როგორი ერი ვარ ჩვენ.
The only way you say you prefer to be homeless versus in the blocks is if you've never experienced homelessness. Yeah, well, many people haven't. You know, that number is changing every day in America, but many people haven't experienced homelessness.
So maybe I can have Can I put some water in it just to share the moon over there? I'll get some water.
გაგვიმარჯოს. გისურვებთ უკან დაბრუნებას და მეც საკუთარ შევსრულებ, რომ ოდესმე შევძლო მაგ ადგილის ნახვა.
ამინ.
Cheers, mama.
შენ სამშობლოს გაუმარჯოს. მშვიდობიან ქვეყანაში გვეცხოვროს და კარგად ვიყავ.
You got such a lovely smile.
ძალიან საყვარელი ღიმილი გაქვს.
რა ვიცი, ღიმილი დამტოვეთ აფხაზეთში. აი უთხარი როგორც ეგერ აფხაზეთი, my house, აფხაზია. აი, აქ ცხოვრობდი მე.
That's where she lived.
აი ეს ასე რუსმა წაიღო.
That's all the like Russians took all
აი
the
ეს
part.
რუსმა. ეხლა ომი იყო, ბავშვები პატარები მყავდა, ჩემი მეუღლე დაიჭრა, აი ისა ჩემი მეუღლე აგერ.
That's her husband.
What are you looking at?
He got shot.
He got shot.
Yeah.
Still mad at you. She pooped in the house earlier.
ვეტერანის წოდება მისცეს და გარდაიცვალა და
And she's been here for 33 years.
33 წელია აქ ხარ, ხო?
ხო.
ხო. Yes, it's
In
been.
this building.
ამ შენობაში.
ხო.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
When she got displaced, did she think it was gonna be this long, or did she think that it was more of a temporary thing?
ჩვენ ასე გვეგონა, რომ იქნებ ცოტა ხანი იქნება და ჩვენ დავბრუნდებით ისე დღემდე ლოდინში ვართ. რა ვიცი რა იქნება, როდის იქნება. მაინც გული ვტკივა.
Do you still hold hope in your heart that you're gonna go back?
მენატრება.
Yeah, and she misses it.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's
As the world feels like it's descending into this new episode of darkness with all the wars that are happening, what's her message to the world?
მე ხალხს ვუჩევდი რომ ერთმანეთი გვიყვარდეს. ერთმანეთს მოვეფეროთ, მოვესიყვარულო და ის ზევით გაიგებს ის ბუნება. კიდე რომ არა ვართ მთლად ცუდი ხალხი. ხო და გადავაჭარბოთ იმას იმ ცუდ ხალხს ჩვენ სიკეთით, სიტყვით და სიყვარულით. მარტო სიყვარული გადაგვარჩენს. ერთმანეთის მოფერება და სიყვარულება. ხომ შემეძლო მაგალითად ახლა თქვენ, ო დამანები ახლა თქვენ თავი არ ამაქვს მე. ეს შეიძლება უფალმა თქვა ისე მოეკეცის ხვას როგორც შენ გინდა მოგეცენო რა ვიცი აბა შეიძლება თამშიერი მოდი დღეს ფეხი დაგისველ და ამწვიმა და იმაში ჩემამდე რომ მოსულიყა და მე თქვა არა ბატონო არ მცალია მე ამ ფერკაჭერება გამოვლილ ქალს შემიძლია არაფრით არ შემიძლია ხო და მე აი თქვენთან რო ვარ ეს სიტყვა და სიყვარული თვარ მე თქვენთან
I don't even know what she said.
მე ახლა ასე მგონია ეს
ვიცი რას ამბობს, მაგრამ ხო ხედავთ სიყვარულია.
მე ასე მგონია რომ ახლა ეს მყავს მე დიდი ხნის ნანახი.
She says that it feels like I've known him for a lot of time.
არა და აი პირველად
It's for sure the first time you guys are meeting.
თქვენ დედას მადლობა უთხარით რომ თქვენ კარგი შვილი გაგზარდა. ისი მადლობა კარგად. კარგად.
Babushka's got the cape and everything. She misses all that freedom that she had at Ray's house. Yeah, except she was a fucking terrorist over there. So obviously I got a better handle on things here. Even though she knows how to manipulate me. That's why she's like getting... No, now she's not wagging her tail anymore because I made her get down again. Oh no. Oh no. What are you wagging your tail for? You want to get up? Is that what it is? Huh? Okay. Okay. That's crazy. This dog is crazy. She does give me the puppy eyes and she knows. She knows it works too. She knows it fucking works. Terrorist is a term governments use to label things they don't like. You are a fascist. So one in the chat said, I didn't know Atlanta had their own language. Yeah.
How many rooms were in this specific sanitarium?
Nearly 400.
400.
I feel like they didn't speak enough about the sick ass luxury resort. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it was always full. I think they moved out of here like 2 years ago, because a few months ago when I went here, there were people swimming in the pool and yeah, they were having fun around here. Yeah.
Wow.
They were living here.
So I'm curious because your grandparents grew up during the Soviet times. How do they feel about
that
Soviet
time era.
times. They did miss it for some time, just because, you know, during the Soviet era, like, it was basically not allowed to not to work. So everyone had a job, everyone had money, everything was pretty much cheap. But also the part when Soviet Union tried to erase the identity of Georgia, that's the part which my grandparents are kind of mad about.
Bro, that literally is unironically the greatest way that you can describe both the best aspects of the USSR and the simultaneously worst aspects, the major failures and the major success of the USSR in the shortest way you can describe it. Okay? The Russification, Russianization, is that how you say it? What's the fucking term for it? I don't know what the proper term is. Okay? While simultaneously giving every single Russification, giving every single person a job, keeping things relatively cheap, like all of that, great housing opportunities, infrastructure spending, every single aspect of that, modernizing this country, having it be like this global power. The casualness with which he was like the cultural genocide was kind of mid-semi. Yeah, because even when that is happening, I think ultimately, even when that's happening, when your material conditions are like relatively well, and when people can see that like you're becoming, when people can see that you are as a nation becoming more powerful overall, when like your material conditions are improving, giving everyone a job means people pretend working. Yeah, what do you mean? What the fuck do you think you do? If you have a white collar job, that's literally what you're doing half the time is pretending to work. So what the fuck are you talking about anyway? And no, those jobs weren't like pretend working for the most part. It's not like the USSR jobs were like desk guy, Excel spreadsheet enjoyer. Okay, that wasn't like the fucking positions. And then like actual work, like slave to the Excel spreadsheet worker in a short increment as soon as you're in the service sector. Okay. Motherfuckers who watch you on company time are griping about people pretending to work. Exactly. But ultimately, that's the point. If you improve people's material conditions in ways that they can recognize it, they don't even give a shit about like in a lot of instances, they don't give a shit about like social liberties being withered away or never really having it at all. China is a great example of this. Literally, China is a phenomenal example of this. Okay? The happiness that people exhibit or the confidence they have for their government is unheard of for Americans. They're like, what the fuck? Why do people like this shit? I don't get it. Why do people like this shit at all? Like we in the Western world, we look at China and we're like, this doesn't make no damn sense. You don't have free speech. You have this like social credit system or whatever. Like all of that stuff doesn't matter as much when people are like, well, you know, things are going well. I have opportunities. Now, it will change. It will absolutely change for the worse when the material conditions start worsening. Okay? If material conditions start worsening, if people lose hope that their future is security, people lose hope that their government is, no longer taking care of them, then they will care about the social shit and they will make a big stink about the social stuff because that is very important regardless. Because you get put out of society if your score is low or if you criticize the government. Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah, fucking billions of people and every single one is like secretly fucking being cast aside. There's 1 billion people in China that are secretly lying to like Western pollsters. Bro, time and time again, Western think tanks go to China. You can do that, okay? And they don't have any interest in making China look good, making the Chinese government especially look good. Right? They don't have any interest in it. And yet the polls personally show that. Contrast with Modi in India, they hate Modi Lamau. Yeah, I mean, again, it's all about material conditions. Social credit ain't a good thing, man. Just saying. I don't like the concept of social credit as much as I don't like the concept of credit in the United States of America. For the record, I don't think it's good. So explain North Korea. What do you mean? Did you just compare North Korea to China? I'm sorry. There's no other way to fucking treat this conversation but like abject fucking racism against Asian people. Okay? If you think that like China is the same as North Korea, you literally are going, what kind of Chinese are you to fucking Koreans, I think. Like this is no different than fucking Senator Tom Cotton being like, come on, boy, tell me what kind of Chinese are you? Singaporean? Is that a new kind of Chinese? The fuck do you mean? The fuck do you mean? So explain North Korea. Do you think there's a comparison between North Korea and China? The fuck? That's insane. No, I'm saying, why don't North Koreans protest against their government? The North Korean way of existence is, one, very different than the Chinese access to the rest of the world. But beyond that, the North Korean government with limited means also is improving their infrastructure. So that probably plays a role in it as well. Beyond that, though, they are very authoritarian as well. So it's a bit of both, the carrot and the stick. Globalism good? Wait, what do you mean? Do you think, brother, I'm a product of internationalism. You know what? Fair point. Oh, respect. I'm a product of internationalism. You think I fucking think that we should harden our nationalistic sentiment? Are you out of your mind? Look at me. I grew up in fucking Turkey my whole life, and I'm indistinguishable from an American. The only difference is my name isn't Hank, and I guess like I don't have really stupid fucking opinions about healthcare and American imperialism. Anyway, you have freedom of speech. You're just not allowed to insult Xi, spread info, or incite violence. And most people don't insult people anyway. I mean, but that's, but that is free speech. Like, insulting Xi Jinping is free speech. Like, if you gave me the option, though, if I get high-speed rail and I guess like free healthcare, even though the Chinese healthcare system isn't that great either, it's getting better, but it's got a long way to go. Better infrastructure, better housing policies, all that shit. But I can't say Joe Biden is bad. I'll probably fucking take I can't say Joe Biden's bad.
Yeah, they try to erase our language. They try to just erase everything and make us Russian.
Yeah, there are a lot of people now that struggled.
Hate speech isn't legal in many EU countries either. Would you say it's no longer free speech? Did you just equate like criticizing the CCP or criticizing Xi Jinping with hate speech? Are you a Chinese netizen? Do you think the fuck? Dude, if you've ever talked to a Chinese person, and I have too many, including my relatives, okay, the common thread is always that once they realize you're not like some fucking xenophobic freak like 99% of white people that they encounter in the West, and they are all of a sudden being honest with you, they will tell you usually a certain set of things, depending on like how politically inclined they are, but usually a certain set of comments that I've heard that are very commonplace. Okay? Your relatives are Taiwanese? No. Yes. Even then. There are certain things you know not to say. And you kind of you keep your head down and you don't disrupt the flow. But overall, there is a notion that the government has your best interest in mind. that Chinese prosperity is a real phenomenon that a lot of Chinese people believe in, and why shouldn't they believe in it? The country has developed tremendously over the course of their lives. And when you see that with your own two fucking eyes, when you see better infrastructure year over year, when you see China becoming a beacon of prosperity as a Chinese person, okay, you're like, yeah, this shit's pretty good overall. Also, you are free to visit. Every single one of you could go to China tomorrow if you wanted to. It's actually pretty fucking cheap as well. I don't know about the flight, but like as soon as you get there, everything is much, 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 much cheaper. This is completely unheard of from the American perspective, especially since the 90s. Like, I don't think my generation and beyond have ever even thought about having better material conditions than their parents. We have the exact opposite phenomena happening here. We have the exact opposite framework where we're like, shit's getting worse overall. Sure, technological improvements are great. I can get burger wherever I want, but like ultimately, the notion that you're going to be able to own a house, the notion that you're going to be able to find emotional or personal fulfillment in either your labor or have a retirement, for example. These are gone. These are concepts of the past. Obviously, that probably impacts the collective psyche in a very negative way. That's it. If you, on the other hand, have seen infinitely better living circumstances over the course of multiple decades, you're going to be like, this shit is awesome. Yeah, sure. Isn't this true for China too? Fuck no, it's not true for China. What the fuck are we talking about? Is China going to collapse any day now for real? There are issues. There are certainly issues in China as far as I understand. Like I said, healthcare is not great. The anti-homelessness initiatives are actually pretty fucking severe in China, even though you never really hear about it. Okay? There's still much to be done as far as like labor rights goes, especially in certain areas. China also has an aging population. Not that not the same as like America, because America has a steady flow of undocumented migrants coming in that actually keep the population pretty fucking young, even though we are so ungrateful. Okay. But overall, yeah, their work conditions are pretty bad. But worse than that, worse than the work conditions being pretty fucking bad, there's one other thing. There's one other thing that's way worse, because work conditions are better in comparison to 10 years ago. But what's really bad is the prospect for future generations. Now, I think the younger Chinese people feel as though their opportunities are going to be less. Not that this is like signaling that China is collapsing or anything, but it's not a good look for America to complain about anti-homelessness measures in China. No, I mean, obviously, we are so fucking bad. What the fuck are you talking about being grateful for young immigrants, bro? What do you mean? If it wasn't for a steady flow of migration into the United States, don't you think that we would run into the exact same problem that every single fucking developed nation has ran into, with the exception of those who have like a much better, much more open-minded approach, I guess, even though it's not open-minded, it's fucking awful, it's draconian. I mean, are you saying we should be grateful? Oh, come on. That didn't even, like, you didn't even tie it to your bait. Like, see, this guy did a better job. You can talk about Chinese prospects all you want, but you can't deny how well the stage has managed to stave off the top of the hour ad break by limiting access to sites like Twitch. You're such a simp for the Chinese authoritarian monster that is the CCP. And what about the Uyghurs? You've abandoned them just like you abandoned the top of the hour. Those are better. I got baited by a Quebecois too, which is so much worse. I find it very funny how America's criticizing the CCP for limiting America's social media in the country, but we're going out of our way to limit TikTok owned by a Singaporean. Oh, well, that's a different kind of Chinese. All right. Here's the 3-minute ad break now, by the way. It's coming.
Transitioning into that phase?
It was really tough transitioning. There was no electricity after Soviet Union collapsed. There was no food. People were in line to get just bread. So yeah, it was really tough times, and all the families like had certain amount of bread that they could get. So it was tough after collapsing. Yeah, color is stunning, but I just really wish I could see this thing how it was fresh. Well, I'm not fantasizing about Soviet Union, but the fact is that yeah, this would have looked beautiful.
Yeah, how do you feel about Georgia today?
I'm feeling really positive. Like 5 years ago, I was kind of planning to move out of the country, but now there's a lot of things that I can do. And I enjoy living here. It's really safe.
I hope Georgia continues in this positive direction.
Yeah, I think so too, but I think it's heavily dependent on people, on us, rather than just the government that's ruling. Because yeah, there were some things that we didn't like, and then we protest, and then the protest actually has results. Like government dropping the law after the protest. Like even if you went here 3 years ago, that would be like huge difference coming here this year.
I think a lot of times when we want to criticize what's around us, we forget that we're a part of what's around us. And one of my favorite quotes is, we blame society, but we are society.
Dude, I made one Quebec joke. Being racist is not unique to Quebec. Rest of Canada is just as racist. Getting told to speak white because you're speaking French. I love Quebecers, dude. Listen, Denis Villeneuve got me to admit that I am a supporter. I'm a Quebec separatist. I'm a radical Quebec separatist. Okay, you already know. Speak white because you're speaking French. It's pretty funny though to complain about like in 2024. Like as far as I understand, yes, francophones were shitted on for a while, but like Canada and its mistreatment of francophones now is pretty funny. Like complaining about how much Canadians shit on francophones now. Bro said not a separatist because you're not a fucking real one. You're bitch made. I'm a real one. I believe, yeah, vive le Québec libre. Also, no, Quebec does have literally way more openly racist Islamophobic laws that they push for all the time, which is very French of them. Yes, it is the Quebecers who are enacting a righteous struggle, just like the indigenous folks they genocided for land. No, you don't understand. Quebecers are the same as the indigenous folk. Tabarnak. They still have legitimate grievances, especially considering their language rights. Wait, what? I don't understand this. Am I wrong? I feel like French is like taught in schools. Is like pretty. Canada across broadly is like pretty fucking pro-French. Like they're pretty accessible to francophones. Am I wrong? No, it's not, bro. Shut up. Their French is fucked up, though. I don't think the Quebecers think that way. Please no, I'm Quebecois and I love Canada. Please no, don't, man. It sucks to be Anglo in Quebec, even if I speak perfect French. Wait, what? Now you're saying it sucks to be Anglo if you're in Quebec? Dude, yo, white people need to fucking chill, okay? I'm going to start having some words with everyone involved in Canada, okay? Give it back to the fucking natives right now. Shut the fuck up. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, it's funny when fucking Quebecers now are like, oh no, I'm not white, dude, I'm black. Yo, Canada is so fucking nuts, dude. Canada is insane. You got black Canadians being like, no, I'm actually being shit on for being Anglo than being black. What is happening? What's going on? Everything is upside down in Canada, dude. That's crazy. What in the hell? I never thought a black person in a Western country would be like, yeah, dude, the French speaking population is really owning me for speaking English. As a black man, much worse that I speak English. What the fuck? Yeah, we need to shut down Canada. Read my previous message. I'm not saying they are repressed, but Canada is an Anglo-colonial project and the French are treated as second class, but immigrants are third class. As an immigrant to Anglo-Canada. Oh. The indigenous are taking French land. I don't know. No, I think this guy is right. I got bullied and laughed at when I was in Quebec because I was speaking American. Okay, but you deserve that. Like, what? I mean, that's so valid. As a chief authority, no pun intended, on this as a native guy, Quebecers are the scum of the earth and should be moved to America instead. Jesus Christ. No, they speak French, dude. We don't speak that language around here. French is not second class. It's an official language in Canada, and any French neighborhoods are usually just bilingual. Yeah, I never thought that people would say that the francophones are oppressing the anglophones in Quebec. That's so funny. I know I like the joke about how Quebecers or the francophones say that they're being oppressed all the time. This is so sick. Okay, let's continue. Let's finish this.
So I think it's a matter of just like not dissociating from the fact that government is also people. And
Yeah.
I love your love for your country, man.
Yeah, I'm trying my best. It took me some time. Too. Yeah.
As we arrived with a very limited understanding of this country's history, we were able to faintly open that door into the past through this semi-abandoned Soviet city and paint a clearer picture of what those challenging times were like for Georgia. We think that studying our past is imperative to not repeat the same mistakes tomorrow. And so we hope that we, as the next generation, would listen to these stories and choose more wisely a future of peace once and for all. If you want to support our ability to create independent short documentaries like this, the ultimate way to do that is through our clothing line, Seek Discomfort. When you drop shiny.
The Anglophone in Montreal who complains lives in the richest part of Montreal versus Francophone is very weird. I must say complain.